Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to another player profile. Going to take a look at Josh Kelly. Quite a few requests coming his way. Before we do, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you're listening to this on Facebook or SuperCoach HQ, get along and give Shorty a subscribe because I will be releasing a few SuperCoach leagues, and if you do want to get involved and take me on in a few of those, you'll need to be subscribed to the YouTube channel because that's where all the stuff goes first. It always comes there first before it hits anywhere else. So if you're interested in that or just want to get around me, by all means go along and subscribe. But Josh Kelly, I've got quite a few requests for, and look, it's very interesting taking a look at him. Now, I say it's interesting, but it's really pretty straightforward and pretty clear. This man's a superstar. Normally when I see a young guy who's broken out, had his first big season, the immediate thought and concern is, can he back it up? You know, is this something where he's going to be a star for the future, but that sort of second year blues, you know, sometimes you cop a little bit more attention and sometimes it's only a 5 to 6 point drop off after, you know, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. You know, we saw maybe with Bontempelli, and I'm sure there's other examples where they do break out, put themselves on the map, and then clubs start to do a bit more work on them and start to really hone in on how they can stop them. There's a bit of a year where they work through the tag and start to deal with those things, and then they become an absolute superstar for the rest of their career. I feel as if Josh Kelly is not going to have one of those years. I think this man is here to stay and stay for a long time. I can't see him going anywhere anytime soon, and that comes as no surprise to anyone. I didn't see him play a stack, let's be fair. In Victoria, you're not getting too many GWS games coming through the TV, but what I did see was extremely impressive, and looking at the numbers was even more so. Has he been slightly underrated, at least in terms of SuperCoach? This season was unbelievable. I'm not sure if I've missed it, but he deserves or seems to deserve far more credit because it was one of the best seasons you're going to see. I mean, obviously it's not Dangerfield or Martin like yet, but in terms of consistency and picking a guy, I mean, if you picked him last year after that 87 average and predicted the breakout, you know, I tip my hat to you because I think we all thought the breakout was coming. But to go for it, to back him in, if you did that, kudos. That's brave, and it paid off big time for you if you did. I mean, those averages, 2014, 68.1, then what do we got? 70.6, 87.1. Of course, last year, 114.3, which sees him priced at about the 628k if we want to pick him this season. So it came as no surprise to anyone. I mean, of course, there's always been that talk with the D's not getting him and all that sort of pick talk from the draft ages ago. Who's going to be the winner? Well, certainly Kelly put his stamp on that. I think the other picks were Salem and someone else in there, I'm sure. But look, he was outstanding. Unbelievable consistency. And I think sometimes when we don't see him play, it's easy to sort of think that maybe he's just another talented giant who's a little bit soft. You know, there seems to be that stigma about the Giants where they're a bit of a downhill skier, but Kelly is tough. He wins his own ball. He stands up every game. He's not a downhill skier at all. I want to talk a few of these numbers now. A high score of 176, but it's the low score that I love, 88. Just 5 scores under 100, and they were 88, 92, 93, 96, 98. I think we can cop that. That's pretty impressive. If you want to break the scoring down, of course, those 5 scores under 100, 101 to 110, he had 9 scores, 111 to 120, he had 3, and he had 7 120 plus. So we certainly got a ceiling, those stats, including his finals. And it was his finals that I really loved. I mean, it's all well and good to have a great home and away season, but when you come in and you're playing finals footy, that's where you really want to make your name. And look, the Giants had a fairly tough final series, you know. They lost 2 of them. They lost to the Crows and the Tigers. They got fairly well pumped by the 2 grand finalists, but he wasn't too badly affected, you know. He was really, really good. Adelaide qualifying final, 33 touches, 113 SuperCoach points, named the Giants best. West Coast, 33 touches, 101 points, named the Giants 6th best player. In the Tigers match, prelim final, 28 touches, 113 SuperCoach, named the Giants 2nd best player. So he's stepping up. He doesn't need the Giants to win games for him to be good. The Giants win games because Josh Kelly is good. It's as simple as that. He steps it up, and it is so crucial to the Giants setup. Some people want to talk about Cornelio coming back and how will that affect him. it's not going to change it up. Kelly's the main man in there. Cornelio's great. Ward's great. Dylan Shields great. Whitfield's showing great signs as well. But Kelly's the main man. He's established himself as that. He's a Rolls Royce, been touted as a superstar for many years, and he showed us exactly why. And I know at SuperCoach HQ, the boys did a few numbers. It's on their Facebook page. I can't remember them exactly. But his numbers when Cornelio was in the side, I think he averaged about 119 or 120 anyway. So you don't have to fret about that. What's he bringing to the table? Some stats. You know, as I said, he's certainly not soft. 29.5 touches he averaged, 11 of those contested. He gets you 5 clearances a game, 6.5 tackles, and can hit the scoreboard. He kicked 19 goals last year, but also 24 points. So he certainly gets plenty of shots on goal. So he does it all. He does it all. Now, I don't have to pump his tyres up anymore, do I? I mean, what's the selection process? Why haven't we seen him as many teams as we should have? You know, Shorty, you've just told me this bloke's an absolute superstar. Why haven't I seen Josh Kelly in many teams, you say? Well, I guess there's that little bit of risk factor. You know, I mean, minimal, but 628k, maybe people are just vying for a Martin or paying high for a Dangerfield or going to a Fife. Maybe we've got a little bit more faith. And I think the main part is a bit of out of sight, out of mind. I think perhaps, I don't know if he's underrated, but maybe he just gets looked over a little bit because he's a giant. He's not a big Melbourne club player. Maybe we don't see him as much. Maybe people want to pay their big coin for a guy who's done it year upon year upon year. And I can understand that. But if you're a Josh Kelly fan and you're umming and ahhing about picking him, I'd say pick him. You know, I'm not going to say absolutely spend your 630k on a bloke who's had one very good season. Because, of course, you just never know. I would be very surprised if he dropped significantly. I mean, I would think the worst you could get was around 107, 108. I mean, you can never predict, but I just couldn't see him dropping off too far. And if I was predicting, I'd say another 110 plus. I think he's just that good. But I could certainly understand why people might go past him because it is that risk factor. I mean, we sometimes have to look at these players as numbers. You just got to look at them as numbers sometimes. And the fact is that he's had one premium midfield season and we're forking out a huge amount of coin. Maybe our heads rest a little easier on the pillow when we're paying that sort of coin for a bloke that we know can do it year on year and has done it for the most part of his career. So that's understandable. And I'd say that's probably the only downside. That'd have to be the only reason you wouldn't pick him because he is a star of the game. I think he's going to continue to do that. He could well be in the top 3 to 4 players in the game, maybe by the end of next year. Certainly in the future, I think he'll be in that discussion. He is an extreme talent. So if you are thinking about picking him, if he's in your mix, if you want to pick him and you just need that little push, then I'm giving you that push. Go for it. I encourage it because I think he may well be a reasonable point of difference. I haven't looked at the percentages, but just from teams I've seen, it doesn't seem like he's in a stack of sides. But if you haven't considered him and you're a bit wary because he's only done it for one season, and look, Shorty, I'm not sure what he's going to produce, but I just feel more comfortable paying my 600 plus K on a guy who I know will deliver and has delivered for year after year. So I can understand that. And to be fair, I mean, he's not in my side at the moment, so maybe I'm in that camp as well. Maybe I'm a little keener on a Martin or a Fife or, you know, a few of those guys, like I said before. So I can understand that. That's fair enough. But the numbers speak for themselves. His reputation, he backed it up. This man's going to be a player we love watching for many years to come. So I think he'll be a guy we pick for many years to come as well. So by all means, get around him. But this one's been a fairly simple one. I got a few requests. I thought I'd better take a look at these stats a little bit closer. And I became even more impressed. I didn't realise exactly how good a season it was. For some reason, I just thought he had the odd 70 in there. But nope, an extremely good season. So you can bank on him with a fair amount of confidence, I think. But thanks for all the requests, guys. I'll certainly be looking to get to as many as I can. I have been trying to sift through the comments and just see which ones are the most popular ones. And we're getting through those at a reasonable rate. Of course, look out for the SuperCoach leagues that will unveil over the next probably fortnight, I'd imagine. So get involved in that. And yeah, of course, keep the comments coming and the subscribers coming too. Give these videos a bit of a share. If your mate is looking for a bit of content and he hasn't checked out my channel, by all means, send him the link and get him involved. That'd be great. So thanks for tuning in once again. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.